classic Elon.
It is. I mean, there's probably no figure in modern life who so openly flirts with the idea of his own insanity as Elon Musk. But of course, what he's talking about
on an earnings call,
on an earnings responsibility. Of course, what he's saying essentially is, you gotta let me cook, and the only reason I should be fired is if I am going crazy, and that would be crazier than he normally is, because of course he's pretty out there on a normal day, and for believers, that's kind of part of the appeal.
Dare I say, Max, a lot of people would say, even though they could be critical of $1 trillion pay package, they say, well, what would Tesla be without Elon Musk?
Yeah, and that's kind of the difficult position that investors find themselves in this company, where, yeah, there's some opposition to this pay package, and we've seen some of the shareholder advisory firms come out against it. But I think for most investors, you're kind of in a position where if you say no to this package, and Elon Musk threatens to leave or even does leave, the stock falls, right? It doesn't go up, because so much of this company's value is about the future, and that future is all about Elon Musk. The other thing I'll say about this pay package, big as it is, it's requiring the company to get even bigger, to hit milestones that seem almost cartoonish at this point. So if you're an investor, you're saying, well, I mean, let's hope it works out. He's been effective before. Why not this time?
Well, I got to say, one investor, we're talking about New York State, and the comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, did say that Tesla pay package for Elon is overly generous, lacks clear performance metrics to justify the $1 trillion that he could earn under this proposal. He plans to vote against the compensation package, and Tesla directors up for re-election on November 6th. He spoke with Bloomberg Surveillance on TV earlier today.
When you see the excessive compensation package, I mean, credit to Mr. Musk. He's already one of the richest men in the world. How much more rich does one person have to be?
I don't know. I'm not that rich, but so
I don't know. I know that we joke about that, but I don't know if that's the right question to be asking, Max. Is it about wealth, or is it about control?
I think it's about both. I mean, people always say, and you always hear things like, well, Elon Musk doesn't care. He's so rich, he is worth hundreds of billion dollars. Yeah. What's another couple $100 billion? But I think when you're talking about this level of wealth, you do, like, the amount of money he stands to make on this package would, double his wealth potentially. So like that is a big difference. And the other thing, Tim, as you said, Musk says this is about control. It's about being able to maintain his position, to essentially be able to operate without any kind of shareholder activism, a critic might say, without constraint.
Having said that, you go to the core business, right? And EVs, like, listen, for a long time, he and Tesla did not really face much competition here in the U.S. And he and Tesla for a long time promised, didn't deliver, and then they started to deliver. But the environment is changing. But so too is the evolution continuing for Tesla as a company, right? Whether it's battery storage and other businesses. But I don't know, what is the business, and does that business, would it be able to hit some of these metrics to justify this pay package?
I mean, that is what's so difficult. And to the point that Thomas DiNapoli is making in there, Tesla has not done that great over the last couple of years. The stock price has been phenomenal. Investors, and particularly like the kind of retail investors who follow what Elon Musk says and buy his stock, like they are in love with this thing. There is a boom in AI. Elon Musk is talking a lot about AI, but car sales have not been great. And even in this quarter, which was good, right, where sales went way up, margins went down, and there is a sense among investors, and you've even heard this from the company itself, that this is going to be a bit of an aberration, because what happened is the tax credit, the $7,500, was effectively making electric cars cheaper. It went away as part of the big beautiful bill that Trump passed. So this is kind of like a one-time thing where you have a bunch of people basically moving purchases forward. At the same time, lots of competition from lots of automakers. Now we talked about this really for years, for almost a decade, like, GM and others are gonna come. Well, they're here now. There are a bunch of really great electric cars that cost the same amount of money, or in some markets less than a Tesla. BYD has cars in Europe that are very, very competitive with Tesla and are cheaper. GM has cars now that are about the same price as the cheapest car and that are competitive. So that's a challenge. And then on the other hand, you have Musk's kind of fantastic promises around humanoid robots, around autonomy. And that stuff is hard to value. You basically either value that at zero or you value it at like $20 trillion. And so it's kind of created a gap in the discourse around this company.